Kevin Cheveldayoff. Thanks for joining us here.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Asking you as well, do you try and get to these as much as you can, the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, because it is the start of the new scouting calendar year?
It is. It's kind of like the kickoff for all the scouts, and whenever you can get an opportunity to come to a tournament like this, where the best draft eligible players are kind of grouped together, you try to. You have meetings throughout the year, and you hear different names. At least now I have a little bit of a semblance as to who these our scouts are talking about.
How do you work your scouts in Winnipeg at this tournament? I mean, everybody's a little bit different. Do you bring in a lot of the scouts, the European scouts, the crossover scouts, or is it just kind of the main head amateur scouts?
No, we'll bring in our crossovers and our guys over from Europe as well. Again, it works usually the other direction as well. Every other year you're going back to Europe, so you're flying your crossover guys. The guys that generally see all the players, it's a good starting on point for them.
We always like taking a trip down memory lane. A player that you know very well, Cole Perfetti, did very well at this tournament back in 2019. At the time, he set a single tournament record with 12 points, and he's become a very integral part of your team as well. What's the ceiling for a player like that?
Well, I think Cole's just kind of scratching the surface. Unfortunately for him, he had a couple of injuries in his 19-year-old year and his 20-year-old year, but last year he had a great year, and we're looking forward to to good things with him moving forward with our core, and it's kind of like he's been around for a couple of years now. He's one of the guys that starts integrating within that group, and that's the kind of team that we have here right now. And we obviously we had a great year last year, but I think we need some of our younger guys to continue to take steps and move forward for us to kind of grow.
Some of your younger guys, we're talking about a 22-year-old as a younger guy. You got a couple other guys who are even younger, with Brad Lambert and Nikita Chibrikov, who played in Manitoba and had very good seasons. How did you like their progression this year?
Oh, I thought it was a great year for both of them, and fortunately we were able to get them up at the end of the year to play a game in the National Hockey League, and Chibrikov scored, Lambert got an assist. Both guys, obviously got rewarded for the hard work that they did, but the real work was back, with the Moose, and the Moose do such a great job for us in development. And you just look at our team, and over the years, guys like Adam Lowry and Kyle Connor, they all came through the Moose organization, and so it's an integral part. But Brad took a great step, and Chibrikov came over from Russia, and he's an energy type of player that has great skill, and both guys look to factor into our equations sooner rather than later.
So difficult year after year to be a perennial contender. 110 points for your team last year. What excites you about this upcoming season?
Well, I think a couple of things. Obviously, we've got a new coaching staff that's going to bring in some new ideas, but it wasn't like we needed to change our coaching staff. We had a great year. We had some good progress, and Scott Arneal taking over the reins is going to be a progression. We have a couple of assistant coaches, I think, that'll give some fresh perspectives on the special team sides of things. But again, I'm looking forward for our younger players to try and take a step, whether it's Logan Stanley, Ville Heinola, Brad Lambert, Chibrikov, Perfetti. Those are the kind of players that we need to keep growing to push our organization forward.
I was going to ask about Logan Stanley. I mean, he had a difficult year with some injuries, and he had a difficult year with some healthy scratches. I mean, he's a young guy. He's got so much potential. What ceiling do you see for Stanley?
Well, obviously, we drafted him real high. We think very, very highly of him. He did have some injury challenges 2 years ago. Last year, we had an unfortunate phenomenon for him, fortunate for us, and maybe led to some of the reasons why we got 110 points is we didn't have a lot of injuries on defense, so there wasn't a lot of opportunity to change lineups. This year, we bought out Nate Schmidt in order to create some of that opportunity for those guys to take steps forward. And the ball's in their court. If you're a young player in our organization right now, it's all in front of you, there for the taking.
Grab the opportunity, that's awesome. Right. Well, enjoy the rest of your time here, Kevin. We appreciate you joining us here.